we are moving to the module 4. Module 4 deals with stresses in beams. Stresses include both bending stresses and shear stresses. Stresses acting in beams. Stresses means when we are subjecting a beam to any type of loading, shear force and bending moments will be created in it, and these shear force and bending moments leads to deformations. So the material of the beam resist against this deformation, and that resistance against bending of the beam per unit area of cross section of the beam is called bending stress. Okay, is called the term bending stress. The resistance per unit area of cross section against bending. To resist that bending, what will be the resistance offered? That is referred to as bending stress, denoted by sigma. So now we'll see what is the theory of simple bending, or we'll see pure bending condition. Simple or pure bending. Okay, what is theory of simple or pure bending? What do you mean by simple bending or pure bending? So for that, we need to consider an overhanging beam. Consider an overhanging beam AB with overhangs AC and BD respectively, carrying 2 point loads W at the free ends. And this overhang is same as A and the span is L. So this is an overhanging beam with carrying point loads W with supports at C and D. Overhangs are A distances and the span is L. So when we are drawing the shear force diagram, so the reactions will be W and W each. Once we are drawing the shear force diagram, it is having a downward force of W. Up till here there is no force. Then C, there is an upward force of W upwards. In this span there is no loading. From D there is an upward force. Then up till B there is no loading. Then there is a downward force. So this is positive, this is negative, this is the SFD, shear force diagram. Now when you are drawing the bending moment diagram, at this point the bending moment will be 0. At this point the bending moment will be W into A. It is a clockwise moment, so it is negative W into A. At this point also, at the point C also, we'll get it as W into A. So this is the bending moment diagram, negative. This is the BMD. This value is WA. This value is also WA. Okay. So in this position, that is in the position between C and D, the shear force is 0 and the bending moment is constant. Bending moment is not varying, it is constant. And this case is referred to as simple bending. This portion, that is the portion between C and D, this portion is referred to as simple bending, because there the shear force is 0 and the bending moment is constant. So that portion CD is referred to as to be in a state of pure or simple bending. In practical condition, the bending moment can never be constant. So this is only a concept, a theoretical concept only, theory of simple or pure bending. Now we'll see the pure bending equation. Now we'll move on to the pure bending equation. Pure bending equation is a very important equation. It is given by M by I is equal to sigma by Y is equal to E by R, where M is the moment of resistance or bending moment at any section of the beam, moment of resistance. I is the moment of inertia of the cross section of the beam. Sigma is the bending stress at a distance y from the neutral axis. Sigma is a bending stress at a distance y from the neutral axis. E is the modulus of elasticity and R is the radius of curvature to which the beam bends. Now we'll see how we'll arrive at this equation. For that, we need to consider a small portion of the beam. There are certain assumptions. Assumptions are the material is to be homogeneous and isotropic. The value of modulus of elasticity is the same in tension and compression. The material obeys Hooke's law. Stress due to bending does not exceed the elastic limit stress of the material. The beam is initially straight and is of uniform cross section throughout the length of the beam. Planes which are perpendicular to the longitudinal axis before bending remain perpendicular after bending, and the last assumption is the radius of curvature is very large compared with the cross-sectional dimensions of the beam. These are the assumptions of the pure bending equation. Now we'll see a portion of the beam. So first we'll find out an expression for normal stress in the beam. We'll find out an expression for normal stress. In order to find out an expression for normal stress, we need to consider a portion of a beam. Suppose this is a portion of a beam. Consider this portion of a beam A, B, C, D. Suppose this is the neutral axis E, F. And we are going to consider a particular layer GH below at a distance y from the longitudinal axis. EF is the longitudinal axis, and at a distance y from the longitudinal axis we are going to consider a layer GH. Okay, this is before bending. After bending, the cross section becomes in this form. So after this is the cross section after bending. We are assuming it to be a center of curvature. O is the center of curvature, and let R be the radius of the curvature. So R is up to the neutral axis. R is up to the neutral axis. R be the radius of the curvature, and let this angle be d theta. Let that angle be d theta. So hope the figure is clear. This is before bending and this is after bending. So in this case, AC is the topmost layer, that is it is a layer above the longitudinal axis EF, and BD is the layer below the longitudinal axis EF. So here AC gets shortened, that is compression occurs for the layers above the neutral axis and elongation occurs for the layers below the neutral axis. So from the figure, after bending, the layers above the neutral axis tend to shorten and the layers below the neutral axis tend to elongate. Okay, so that is happening here. So A dash AC gets reduced to A dash C dash and BD gets elongated to B dash D dash. So now we'll see, so the layers above the neutral axis, and whereas EF remains same as E dash F dash, nothing happens to E dash F dash. So we can write EF is equal to E dash F dash. There is no change. From this figure, EF is equal to GH. From that you can write GH is equal to EF is equal to E dash F dash. E dash F dash, from this figure you can write what is E dash F dash. E dash F dash is the arc length. Arc length is radius into the angle subtended, that is R into d theta. So it is R into d theta. So that is GH. GH is equal to EF into EF, that is also equal to E dash F dash is equal to R into d theta. Similarly, what is G dash H dash from the figure? G dash H dash is this arc length, that is R plus Y into d theta. That is R plus Y into d theta. Now what is the strain occurred? That is equal to change in length, that is G dash H dash minus initial length GH divided by original length is GH. When you substitute, you will get it as R plus Y into d theta minus R d theta divided by R d theta. When you are taking inside the inside and simplifying, you will get the term as Y by R. Okay, similarly we know strain is equal to in terms of stress and modulus of elasticity, it is sigma by E. So from 1 and 2 we can write sigma by E is equal to Y by R, from which you can write sigma by Y is equal to E by R. That is the first form of the equation. So from the first condition we have sigma by Y is equal to E by R. From that you can write sigma is equal to E by R into Y. That is the so sigma, that is expression for normal stress, is equal to E by R into Y. Now we'll see how we'll plot the normal stress distribution. Normal stress distribution will be sigma C will be maximum at the top, and at the neutral axis the sigma C will be 0, and at the bottom it will be maximum will be tension. So this is how you plot the diagram. Distribution of bending stress distribution. This is the bending stress distribution. Bending stress distribution or the normal stress distribution. It is given by E by R into Y. E by R is a constant. Depending upon Y, the variation will be like this. It will be maximum for the topmost fiber. Topmost fiber, it will be compression will be maximum. And for the bottommost fiber, tension will be maximum. At the neutral axis, it is 0. So this will be the variation. Now we'll find out an expression for moment of resistance. Moment of resistance. In order to find an expression for moment of resistance, we need to consider an elemental layer. We are going to consider an elemental layer of thickness dy. This is the neutral axis G. And we are going to consider a elemental layer of thickness dy. We are going to consider an elemental layer of thickness dy. dy is the thickness, and area is at a distance of y from the neutral axis. At a distance y from the neutral axis, we are considering an elemental layer. Let sigma be the stress on this layer. Let sigma be the stress on the layer, and the dA be the elemental area. dA be the elemental area. So what will be the force on the element will be? Force on the element will be stress into area, that is sigma into dA. Okay, that will be the force. So the moment about neutral axis. What will be the moment about neutral axis? That will be the force is sigma into dA. That into the perpendicular distance is y. So it is sigma into dA into y. So that is the moment about the neutral axis. Now this is the moment which resists the applied moment, and that is not why it is known as the moment of resistance. This is the moment, that is sigma into dA into y is the moment which resists the applied moment, and that is why it is referred to as moment of resistance. So total moment of resistance is equal to external moment. External moment M. So you can write the total moment of resistance. This is only for an elemental, only for this elemental area. Total moment of resistance, if you need to get, it should be integrated. So that is integral sigma dA into y. Thus you can write it as integral sigma, you can write it as E by R into y. Sigma you can write it as E by R into y. That is integral E by R into y into dA. So you can write it as integral E by R. You can take it outside since it is a constant. It will be integral y square dA. What is integral y square dA is moment of inertia. Second moment of area. That is moment of inertia. So you can write M is equal to E by R into I. Moment of inertia. From which you can write M by I is equal to E by R. That is the second equation. So the first equation is sigma by y is equal to E by R, and the second equation is M by I is equal to E by R. So E by R is same, the right hand side is same. So you can, if from 1 and 2 you can write sigma by y is equal to M by I is equal to E by R, or you can write it as M by I is equal to sigma by y is equal to E by R, where M is the moment of resistance, I is the moment of inertia, sigma is the bending stress, y is the neutral axis distance, E is the moment of modulus of elasticity, and R is the radius of curvature. So this is the pure bending equation.